A new Marquette Law School poll was released this afternoon.
This one took an extensive look at the issues facing Wisconsin.
The director of the poll, Charles Franklin, back with us. It seemed like just a week ago we were talking to you, Charles.
Funny how that happens. It's good to be back, though.
Last week we talked about the Supreme Court as a national poll. Now this is a Wisconsin poll looking at Wisconsin issues, and we'll start with the governor's approval rating.
Yeah, you said 50% approved, 43% disapproved. That's exactly the same as where he was in October before the election. So no movement on that for him. Is
that unusual or is that typical?
Well, it's somewhat typical. We saw Governor Evers get a real boost during the spring and summer as COVID was hitting the state for the first time. And those numbers have come down. He had bumped up into the 60s in the spring, high 50s over the summer, then into the mid 50s in the fall. And as you saw by October, right where he is now, 50 to 43. That's 7 points net positive, but it is at 50 instead of 54, 55, 56. His COVID approval remains stronger at 54 to 39, and that's actually a little stronger than it was in October.
You also asked respondents whether they think Wisconsin is on the right track or the wrong track. What direction do people think things are going?
Well, this is a very negative result. 38% say we're headed in the right direction, 51% off on the wrong track. And that's a big swing from in March last year in 2020 when 61% said we were headed in the right direction. Now, that was unusually large. Earlier in the year, it had been in the 50s, but still this reversal to 38 right direction, 51 wrong track is a pretty negative result. We also asked a new question about whether government in Wisconsin was working as intended or is it broken. 32% said right, it's working as intended, but 60% said it's broken here.
That might be one of the reasons why we're heading in the wrong direction in the poll.
I think they might be related, and it's something that partisans of both sides can be upset about because they blame the other side for anything that's going wrong. I will say that it's better in Wisconsin than in Washington. When we asked the same question about Washington government, only 10% said it was working, 84% said it's broken. So pretty bad numbers there.
You asked a question about photo ID and whether Wisconsin residents should be required to produce a photo ID to vote. What were the results on that?
Yeah, this is an issue that's been with us for a while, of course. 73% say that you should be required to have an ID. 22% said you should not. And we haven't asked this for a while, but last time was October of 2014 when IDs were kind of new. 60% were in favor of the IDs, then 36% opposed. So we've seen this in national data as well, a growing acceptance and support for photo ID.
You also looked at COVID. What did you ask about COVID?
Well, we asked a couple of questions. One went back to last year when we had the shutdown. Do you think the shutdown was justified or was it an overreaction? 62% say justified. 35% say an overreaction. That's a little tighter than it was in October, but not a lot tighter. We also asked if you've been vaccinated. 68% said they had, 27% said they'd not. But interestingly, 7% declined to say, showing some reluctance to talk about whether you're vaccinated or not. That 68% matches with the CDC, which also says 68% here of those 18 and over. And there are big party differences. 45% of Republicans say they've been vaccinated, 71% of independents, and 87% of Democrats.
Boy, it still remains a political hot potato.
It really is. And of the unvaccinated, Republicans are more hesitant, though even among unvaccinated Democrats, nearly 2/3 say they probably or definitely won't get vaccinated. So that's an issue for the unvaccinated.
It really is. We are in political times, that's for sure. Interesting as always, Charles. Thank you for being with us today. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.